The Trump family released details of its new crypto project, World Liberty Financial, during a launch event last night on X. And MacKenzie Sigalos joins us now with more. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Joe. So last night, World Liberty Financial had a big announcement. Still isn't live, and we don't yet have an activation date. But we did find out who's on the exec team for the Trump crypto enterprise, some details of the official token launch, and roughly what the platform aims to do. Now, in terms of the org chart, Donald Trump, his sons, his close friend Steve Witkoff, and Steve's two sons are all founding members. They're describing World Liberty Financial as a decentralized crypto banking platform where users will be able to borrow, lend, and earn interest on cryptocurrencies. But really, the headline of Monday's more than 2-hour live stream is that, yes, the Trump family is helping to launch a token, but no, the founders are not taking the widely reported 70% of total tokens issued, a figure that was based on what's believed to be a leaked internal memo from the World Liberty team. Instead, the equity structure is very much in line with other DeFi projects. 20% of the WLFI tokens will be allotted to the World Liberty team, and 63% of tokens will be made available for purchase. However, it's unclear if anyone will actually be able to cash out of those tokens, since these are governance coins that are non-transferable and only meant to be used to vote on matters related to the platform. They also don't provide any dividends or other distributions. Now, that token sale apparently happening soon, but no official date has been set yet. And quick note here, Joe, while the Trumps still receive compensation from the project, the platform itself is not owned, managed, operated, or sold by members of the Trump family.
There's a lot of scuttlebutt on some websites, and, Drudge, I don't. Really, if Trump walked on water, the headline at Drudge would be that Trump can't swim. That's just literally the way it worked. But they made him out to be the most ignorant person about crypto that just got all bogged down, knew none of the details, said Barron knows a lot about it, and then Barron was a no-show or something. Compared to the average boomer, 78-year-old boomer, how bad was the X presentation for not knowing anything about crypto, in your view, MacKenzie?
So of the 2 hours, Trump spoke for 40 minutes, and he spoke on a variety of topics. But in terms of what he relayed on the crypto front, he didn't talk about the project at all. Now, he did talk about his take on the industry more broadly, how he was brought into the sector. He talked about his NFT collections initially sparking his interest. He talked about the fact that his sons are well versed in this space. He talked about the need for more energy to support both AI and the robust crypto infrastructure here in the U.S., but he didn't get into the mechanics of the project. We heard from other members of his family, from Steve Witkoff, from Steve's two sons, with respect to details of the project itself. Yeah,
I just wonder, was it really cringe? Because, I mean, his stance on crypto has evolved, and it was, I think he called it, that was Charlie who called it, Charlie Munger who called it, I think, rat poison or whatever, but he was not bullish on it. But lately, crypto advocates have counted him among the ranks of supporters compared to Elizabeth Warren or Gary Gensler or someone like that. But was it cringe? That's what my kids, that's a word, that means bad, MacKenzie. It means really uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, to your earlier point, Trump has certainly found quite a huge base of supporters within the crypto community because of how well-versed he's been on certain topics like mining and, his views in terms of politics, not wanting to have an SEC that's so hostile to the industry, wanting to deal with certain politicians. But in terms of this project in particular, he is not, he's not polling all that well with the crypto community. They really appreciate a lot of what he had to say in Nashville and at other events, a lot of things that were said in support of the industry. But in terms of this crypto project, there are a lot of concerns around the leadership team, around the code that's been floated behind the scenes. So I think that that's where the concern lies. To your point about whether this was cringeworthy, I think that I leave that up to how people felt in response to the discussion last night. He just didn't talk about the project. And I think that was one of the biggest concerns. It took the last 5 minutes to get any sort of material details.
I know very little. I know just enough to be dangerous. But if a crypto expert started throwing questions at me, I guarantee you my answers would be cringe. If you were to do that, MacKenzie, you know so much more. But I just wondered, because it's the lead story, on Drudge. It was supposedly, and then I'm looking at everywhere else. I really can't find anything that really describes it as that cringeworthy, but maybe it was.